This is from the series where I just do first reads of poems. Nothing brilliant here. I'm just reading it for the sheer joy of reading poetry, not as a teacher to tear it apart and explain it to somebody. I might not always like these. That's part of it. I think when you first approach something, you don't know whether you're going to like it or not. This one is from New Sinews. It's a cool little journal. You should check it out. And Christa Romanosky. Sorry, I butchered your name a little bit there, Christa. Don't know Christa, so sorry, Christa. Hopefully I get to know you a little bit through this poem. So every time I look at a poem, I take a look at the form first before I actually read it. I look at this one, and it's got, couplets all the way down to the end, single line. Also, just look at what they look like. The line lengths are all different, so I already know it's probably not going to be in a standard traditional meter. I look at the end, fine there, no rhyme. Other thing I think I noticed right off the bat without even reading anything here is just the shortness of the lines. There's a lot of punctuation thrown in it. I mean, without having seen anything, there's a lot of punctuation in this poem. Just going to chop it up right off the bat. It's going to make it, feel very like have a staccato feel already without even looking at it. It's probably not going to be traditional narrative. It's probably not going to have the same kind of like story kind of flow. It's probably going to be more one topic to another topic just from the form. But we'll see. Let's read it. Extinction Opus number 16. I'm assuming this is from a bigger collection about extinction. I don't know what kind of extinction that is exactly. I'm assuming it's environmental. That could be completely wrong. We'll see once I get into it. The future on stilts now. Right, this isn't even a sentence. It's just a fragment. Maybe this whole thing's going to be like fragments like this. Who knows? Future on stilts now. Yes, the future. Future in terms of the environment definitely feels like it's on stilts now, ready to topple one way or the other. Corpus callosum like a paperclip unbent. We're going to jump to the brain. I remember corpus callosum is a part of the brain. I'm sorry, not being connected to any kind of health-oriented field. I don't actually remember what it does. I thought it was something like brainstem, but this is going all the way back to college for me. I have to look it up. It's part of what you do if you had to teach this. Like a paperclip unbent. So it's part of the brain unbent. Commingling. Was this the part of the brain that's commingling, or is this the future is all mingling, or just something else completely? Is this paratactical and we just went to something completely different? They say dirty, they say rent. I don't know who they say in this is, so I'm not sure that we're following in a kind of logical pattern here as much as just jumping through fragments. They say dirty, they say rent. You write letters that no heaven could decipher. Writing letters, is it related to the dirtiness or the rent or the extinction, or just this is what the letters do, that their letters no heaven could decipher? Post habitat ectomy. So ectomy is like hysterectomy. It's like the cutting out of something. So like post having had your habitat cut out. It feels very environmental at this point with that in it. The worms loft pixels don't shuck earth. Worms loft pixels don't shuck earth. There's no punctuation there. With the rest of this has punctuation, so I'm assuming we have to read that together, which is kind of an odd phrase done together. The worms I'm connecting to the post habitat earlier, like having been pulled out. The doctor extant but aloof. This is a kind of medical thing going through it. The surgery, the brain stem up here, or whatever it is exactly, part of the brain. The worms, connected to after death as it is, I would assume. But just to earth too, like the digging out, cutting out of things. You scoop the gripe, yeah, the scoop, the gripe, insert gulp. It's like scooping out something bad like a doctor, but also with the earth, it comes out odd. It can be part of a conversation as well. It feels like we have various themes coming together, mingling in here, so you can kind of pick your pattern for how you read it. We're reading it environmentally, reading it through this medical lens. It's also probably related to the environmental lens, I'm not sure. It comes out odd, whack-a-mole for the psychologically sad. That's a great little phrase. I'm not sure whether it connects to the one in front of it, the gripe that has come out odd, that you're like whack-a-mole in it. Or that life for those psychologically sad has become whack-a-mole these days specifically. The parts console, the parts all the parts of the thing that's been taken apart, of the brain, of the different parts of the environment that have been destroyed, or all the different parts of this poem which are there. Are they meant to come together as a whole through all these different parts that we've broken? No seams, they say, you're practically seamless. It is funny, no seams. I mean, this is no seams strikes me, goes right back when I see it in writing to Ovid, you know, who in Metamorphosis talks about, you know, seamlessness of his writing, seamlessness of the transformations of the metamorphoses. And this is something you want, and writers often talk about have it seamless so you don't push the writer out. This one is full of seams. I mean, literally every little phrase is a seam here, which is kind of interesting. No seams, you're practically seamless. Which this poem is not, so I'm curious for how that works out with the rest of this. Post-close, you wear out the notes. Post-close. This is like the post-habitat earlier, like we're somehow living in a post-habitat, post-close, post-person environment. You wear out the notes. It's just C-flat, G minor. I'm not sure what's up with the notes there. The music worn out too. The skin welts. You rename the future by what it predicts. There's the future again. You're renaming it by what it predicts. And I don't know if it happens in this next one. Usually it might be like the next thing would be the prediction, but here we go to a tree. Canoe in progress. Ah, that's like a tree. I'm assuming the canoe in progress is the destruction of the tree to create the canoe, but it could be wrong, right? For Cynthia, yellow wands to lodge in a vase. Like, that plays the same thing as the tree here. Like, all for Cynthia is to be destroyed, to be put in a vase because of the beautiful yellow flowers that come on for Cynthia. That definitely plays around with this, like the cutting out of things that happens all throughout this poem. In this way, nothing gets past the parts. We have all these different parts. Like everything has been cut up. Nature's been cut up into parts. And it feels like the human expression and human brain has been cut up into parts in this poem too. And it's a commentary on our contemporary experience. Well, this is a fun poem. I mean, I really like to see this one in a larger context of the rest of these. I could really see this as a whole book about this topic, and it would build up if you had more of these in this book. So I'm kind of quite interested in this. I like the non-narrative of myself. I don't have to leave a poem having some kind of idea at the end, like, wow, that wrapped up nice and perfect, like, you know, sometimes traditionally my favorite poems do. This one leaves me with a lot of questions about it that I'm not sure that I know the answer to, but that's completely fine. So that was fun. That was a fun read.